David, there is something that has been on my mind for quite a long time, and I would really like to hear your thoughts about it. We have spent years building this relationship, learning about each other, supporting one another through difficult times, and celebrating achievements together. Sometimes I sit alone and think about where our relationship is heading. I see many couples around us choosing different paths. Some decide to marry, others choose to live together without marriage, and some focus entirely on their careers before thinking about commitment. This has made me wonder, is a wedding truly necessary? Is it something every couple should desire, or is it simply a tradition that society expects us to follow? I am not asking because I doubt our relationship. I am asking because I want to understand the deeper meaning behind marriage and weddings beyond the beautiful dresses, decorations, music, and celebrations.
It creates a strong foundation upon which a couple can build a future together. For me, the wedding ceremony symbolizes the beginning of that lifelong commitment. First, imagine the reception, the photographs, or the guests. What comes to my mind is commitment. A wedding is a moment where two people publicly declare that they are choosing each other for the journey of life. It is not simply about being in love today. It is about making a promise to remain committed even during the days when life becomes difficult. Love can sometimes be emotional and unpredictable, but marriage adds responsibility and accountability. That's a thoughtful question, Grace, and honestly, I believe it deserves a serious discussion. In my opinion, a wedding is much more than a social event or a cultural tradition. When I think about marriage, I don't first imagine the reception, the photographs, or the guests. What comes to my mind is commitment. A wedding is a moment where two people publicly declare that they are choosing each other for the journey of life. It is not simply about being in love today. It is about making a promise.
I understand what you mean, and I agree that commitment is important. However, when I look around, I also see many weddings that seem to focus entirely on appearances. Some couples spend enormous amounts of money on venues, decorations, luxury vehicles, expensive outfits, and entertainment. In some cases, families even go into debt just to organize a wedding that lasts a single day. Sometimes I wonder whether people are investing more in the wedding than in the marriage itself. It makes me question whether the wedding ceremony is truly essential, or whether the resources used for it could be directed toward building a home, starting a business, or preparing for future responsibilities. I don't want to measure love by the amount of money spent on a celebration.
I completely agree with that concern. Unfortunately, many people confuse the wedding with the marriage. A wedding lasts for a few hours, while a marriage ideally lasts for a lifetime. The problem is not the wedding itself, but the way some people approach it. Society sometimes creates pressure for couples to organize extravagant ceremonies, making them believe that the success of their marriage depends on how impressive the event appears to others. I think that is a misunderstanding. A meaningful wedding does not require enormous expenses. A simple ceremony attended by close family and friends can be just as valuable, if not more valuable, than a lavish celebration. What matters is the sincerity of the commitment being made, not the amount of money being spent.
Same importance it had in previous generations. Have times changed so much that weddings have become optional rather than necessary?
Society has definitely changed, but I don't think the need for commitment has changed. Human beings still desire trust, stability, and security in their relationships. While it is true that some couples choose not to marry, I personally believe that marriage provides a unique level of commitment. When two people stand before their families, friends, and community to make vows, they are not only expressing love to make vows, they are also accepting responsibility for one another. When two people stand before their families, friends, and community to make vows, they are not only expressing love, they are also accepting responsibility for one another. That public commitment can strengthen the relationship because both individuals understand the seriousness of the promise they have made. Marriage creates a framework that encourages couples to work through challenges rather than walking away at the first sign of difficulty.
After listening to your thoughts, I realize that perhaps the real question isn't whether a wedding is necessary, but what purpose it serves. If the goal is simply to impress people, then it loses its meaning. However, if the goal is to celebrate love, commitment, family, responsibility, and a shared future, a wedding becomes something much more significant. It becomes a symbol of values that extend far beyond the event itself.
That's a very important point. Marriage encourages long-term thinking. When people marry, they often begin making decisions not only for themselves, but also for their future family. They start planning for education, housing, financial stability, and personal growth together. Marriage transforms the mindset from my future to our future. That shift can strengthen the partnership and create a shared sense of purpose.
I also think about the future, especially when it comes to children. Marriage seems to create a stable environment where responsibilities are clearly shared. Children benefit from seeing commitment, cooperation, and mutual respect between their parents. Although good parenting is possible in different family situations, there is something reassuring about knowing that two people have formally committed themselves to building a family together. It provides a sense of security and direction.
I think that's one of the most valuable aspects of marriage. Family support can be incredibly important during difficult times. No relationship is perfect. Every couple experiences disagreements, misunderstandings, some challenges. When is supported by a strong network of family and friends, couples often have people they can turn to for guidance and encouragement, which creates opportunity for them to witness that relationship reminds the couple that they are not facing life's challenges alone.
One thing I appreciate is the way they bring families together. When I imagine a wedding, I don't only see the bride and groom, but parents, grandparents, siblings, cousins, friends, and neighbors gathering to celebrate a new chapter in someone's life. It feels like a moment when two families become connected. In many cultures, marriage is not viewed as the union of two individuals alone, but as the coming together of entire communities. This shows that relationships are not built in isolation.
Exactly. For me, a wedding is not about luxury or attention. It is about standing beside the person you love and saying, I choose you today, tomorrow, and for the years ahead. It is about making a promise that remains meaningful long after the music stops and the guests go home. The true value of a wedding lies not in the celebration, but in the commitment it represents.
Then I suppose I have found my answer. A wedding is not necessary because society demands it. It is meaningful because it allows two people to publicly celebrate their commitment, unite their families, and begin a new chapter together. The size of the event does not matter. What matters is the sincerity behind it.
And that is exactly how I see it too. A simple wedding built on genuine love is far more valuable than an expensive ceremony without true commitment. At the end of the day, the goal should not be to have a perfect wedding, but to build a strong, lasting, and happy marriage. I couldn't agree more. The wedding is one day, but the marriage is a lifetime. And that's why the commitment matters more than the celebration. Don't scroll ahead without use those buttons. Subscription, like, share, and comment.
I couldn't agree more. The wedding is one day, but the marriage is a lifetime. And that's why the commitment matters more than the celebration. Don't scroll ahead without use those buttons. Subscription, like, share, and comment.